Hey guys, what's going on? Brentley Hudson here with Golden's Cast Iron, and I'm here to help you out today. So here's the situation. You get a phone call from a friend, says, hey man, we feel like grilling out tonight. We've got a bunch of people in town, some old buddies have come in that you weren't expecting, and you got like 15 people that are coming by. What are you gonna do? Well, I'm here to tell you that pork loin is the choice for you. I'm gonna show you a great recipe that's gonna knock their socks off. So stay tuned and we're gonna get right down to it. Today we are cooking some pork loin. Now we have a bunch of people I'm cooking for today, and pork loin is a great way to go about feeding a lot of people to get some big flavor. So I've got about 25 pounds worth of pork loin that I've already trimmed the fat off of. I've got rubbed down. Today I did a bunch of different flavors on it. I've had some fun. I'm playing with some rubs that I had. So I built some flavors on top of each other. Now, the real winner of the show is the Golden's Cast Iron Cooker. Now, why is this important that you have one of these in your backyard, and how are you going to get it set up to impress all of your buddies that are coming in to see it for the first time? Well, first off, you got to put your charcoal in, right? Super easy. Just put the Golden's Cast Iron lump charcoal into the firebox and light it however you choose. It's super easy to light. I have an electric lighter that I really enjoy using, and I just put it in there and get it started. Or you can use just any starter cubes that you have. Those are great too. Just put a couple of starter cubes in, let it set it and forget it. Once you get your fire going, you're going to want to have it about 225 degrees is what I'm going to do. With a bunch of pork loin, I like to give it a little bit more time to kind of absorb some of that smoke. I'm using some cherry chunks today. I've got my grates set up in a double stack. All right, so I'm just going to put some of this good yellow mustard on here just to kind of bind. Well, let's see. There we go. Now, you don't need much on here. Obviously, this yellow mustard isn't for flavor, but it's just something to bind the rub to it. We just kind of rub all this in, get it good and coated. And then we're going to put the rub on this side. As you can see, I've already done the other side of it. But today we're going to be layering flavors on this just for some fun. I had a bunch of extra rubs that I'd gotten, and I'm just wanting to play a little bit because that's what's fun about barbecue, and is that you can just play around and have fun, try things. So I'm going to start with this is a pecan rub that I got, so I'm going to give it a good coat. Be sure to cover all of your surfaces at the ends here. There you go. And then I'm going to give this a nice little kind of pat, work it in a little bit. And then I'm going to come back with another little rub I have. Now I'm not going to do too much of this. This is a cranberry maple rub that I have. It's fun. It adds a little bit of tartness to it. Just kind of building flavors on top of each other. That's enough of that. And then again, just kind of pat it in. And so it'll be there. We're going to sear all this into the loin before we put it on. And finally, just for fun, I've got another rub here. This is a championship rub that I found that I like, and this is just going to add another layer onto my pork loin. So, is it a lot? Maybe, but I like a lot of flavor. And it's not really, this is just getting that crust and that bark on there. So it'll just be a nice little pop of flavor for the outside. And there you go. So obviously you're going to want to sear that goodness into your loin. So you just come right over. Oh, get that sizzle going. All right, so we're gonna turn these and get the sear on the other side. That one got a nice little sear mark. That's gonna, all right. We're gonna keep these moist. Now these are big, heavy loins. I got a lot of folks I'm cooking for today, but that's okay. Just getting that sear on there, sealing that flavor in of all those rubs and all those flavor combinations together. Over time, see, we're gonna layer this with some bacon, some other fat. We got, so all that fat's just gonna drip right down on there. This is gonna be beautiful. Super excited about this cook, so should you. All right, guys, so we've got our pork loin, we've got it all trimmed, we've got it rubbed down with a myriad of the rubs of your choice, and we got it seared off, so you've got all that flavor sealed in. So how are we gonna take this cook over the top? Well, it's summertime in Georgia, and nothing says summertime in Georgia to me like peaches. So what I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna stack some peaches on top of this pork loin, and then just to kind of keep a little bit of moisture and fat content, because we did trim a lot of it off in the process, I'm gonna add some bacon on top of all this. And so what this bacon is gonna do is it's gonna drip down over top of this pork loin the whole time, and just kind of add a little bit of good fat content dripping down over the pork loin. And this is gonna be a real winner for you and your friends. So stay tuned, we're gonna get them on, we're gonna see how this cook goes, and it is gonna turn out marvelous for you, your family, your friends, and everybody. So we appreciate you, and let's just see how it goes. Alright guys, so we're going to have a full ingredients list and recipe on our YouTube channel. You should subscribe right down here to do that and find that information. But what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to pose a question to you, because we like to do that here. Are you the type that like to do a little bit of low and slow with your pork loins, or are you a hot and fast guy? So let us know down in the comments below, and we look forward to interacting with you, and it'll be fun. So yeah, subscribe right here. Alright guys, so we've got our meat on, but you want to be able to take care of it in a way, you know, you're not having to check it every 5 minutes, and even if you check it, how do you know? You can't just push it, you know, and do the old hand test, right? So what I like to use is a temperature probe. Now, you can find some on the market that have multiple probes, because they get multiple pork loins in here. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take the one I have. I'm going to set it. I want this to come out. I'm going to pull them off at around 140, 145, somewhere around in there, and then let them rest. So I'm just going to find the smallest one of the loins that I have in here, and I'm going to stick it in there, and then watch the probes there. And once that gets to 140, I can generally assume that the larger ones are almost there, but I can pull the small one off and then stick the temperature probe into another one of the loins as they size up. So pretty simple process, you know, you just program these things to 140 degrees, you stick the probe into oh yeah. So I'm gonna start right over here with the small one right on the corner. I'm just gonna come in at an angle this way. And Pete's like, oh, don't put it in there. So then I'm just gonna set it here. Shut everything down, and we'll be good to go. So that's that. Thank you so much. Alright guys, so we are back. My temperature gauge is reading a little bit around 140, so I'm ready to pull this small one off. I'm excited to see how all this stuff is going to look. So let's dive in and see what we got. Oh yeah. Look at all this beauty. So I'm going to pull this little buddy off right now because that's at 144. I know it's exactly where I want it to be. So that's going to pull off and rest. Oh yeah, set it right down in here. I'm going to pull those peaches off and that bacon off, but while we're here, I'm going to come and I'm going to probe this guy right here. See where we stand with him. Should be pretty close because they're about the same size, about 141, and exactly where I want the other ones. Well, that's time to come off for sure, for sure. We'll pull this one off too. Oh yeah, let that rest. Now these bigger ones, I would think they're going to be a little bit. That's going to have a little bit more time to go. Alright, so my temperature gauge is beeping at me and telling me we're at 140 degrees. 140 for me is a great place to be for pork loin. It's not too overdone because it's so lean and because I cut that fat cap off. If you get a little bit higher, you know, everybody says cook to 165. You can. But you've got, it's just a little bit too over the top for me. I like a little juicy pork for myself. So 140 is great. You're going to let it rest for at least a minimum of 15 minutes. So what's going to happen is it's going to continue to cook. Those juices are going to kind of rest and you're going to be at a perfect temperature that is absolutely safe for all of you and your friends to enjoy. So let's take a look here and get all the rest of these pork loins off. So I'm excited. Oh man, look at this. So you can see all of that sear is on. These peaches are doing exactly what they're supposed to do. So I'm going to pull this off, get my temperature probe out. Take this little beauty here. Pull those peaches and everything off. Set them over to the side. Alright, so we're going to take them inside. I'm going to cover these up, wrap them in aluminum foil, and we're going to make that peach sauce right now. Alright, so I've got my pork pulled off in the oven, wrapped and resting, but now it's time to make the sauce. So I've taken those peaches that were on top of the pork loin and pulled them off. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to dice them up nice and not too fine, because what could happen, you get in there and you dice them, it'll just turn to mush. And so I want a little bit of texture in with everything, the sauce itself. So I'm just going to come in, slice them up a little bit, get a nice kind of coarse chop on there, and then put them into the bowl. And then we're going to mix our ingredients together, a little bit of the mustache mustard, and some of the olive oils and balsamic vinegar that we have here, which is a Herbes de Provence olive oil and a white peach balsamic vinegar. I'm going to do about a 2-to-1 on the vinegar to oil, and the mustache mustard there, all that really does is just, it's a binder, just like mustard on a pork loin. Well, I wouldn't say binder, should say. It does that, but it just really keeps it from separating, right? Oil and vinegar doesn't mix, oil and water doesn't really mix all that well either. So the mustard just kind of gives it something to attach itself to so it doesn't separate and the sauce will stay consistent. So that's why I put in the mustard in. So I'm going to continue to chop these peaches up, put them into the bowl, and then we'll get the sauce made up here in just a second. Thanks. Alright, so we've gotten our peaches all chopped up, and man, does this look good. Look at all of that goodness right in there. So this is the base of our sauce. So as you see, I left them all nice in a good kind of coarse chop on that. As I mix it, that's going to kind of break down a little bit. But what I'm going to start with is the mustache mustard. I've got 1/3 of a cup of the mustache mustard here. And again, this is just going to be to bind it. And this is just a spicy mustard that you have. Dijon, spicy brown, anything of that nature I like to use. It adds a little bit of flavor in there, but nothing over the top. So then we're going to add that. And I'm gonna start and kind of give that a good little mix in here with it. So again, just kind of mix it all in. Oh man, that's gonna be good. Gonna be good. And then like I'd mentioned, we're gonna do a 2-to-1 with the white balsamic to the oil, which is the herbs of Provence oil. So I'm gonna start with a cup, and then I'm just gonna kind of build it up. So I'm gonna start with a half a cup of the white balsamic, just to start. And just pour this half a cup of white balsamic in. Great. And then what we'll do is we'll do a quarter cup, because again, we're doing 2-to-1. So, and I'm eyeballing this, right? This is a full cup. So if you want to be precise, that's fine. And then we're gonna mix this up, give it a little taste, and go from there. So let's do that. Don't want it to be too runny, you know. I mean, it's going to be a nice, I think once those peaches break down, it's going to add a nice kind of consistency to that. And plus, I've got a bunch of people that I'm cooking for, so, you know, this is going to have a nice, beautiful all-around flavor to it. And if you want, you can put this in a pan and cook it down to kind of bring a little bit more of those flavors out. But I'm not going to. I'm just going to stick this in the fridge, let it all kind of get up together, and then once everyone arrives, we're going to pull it out and let it get back up to room temp, and it'll be perfect. Thank you so much. All right, great. Now I got it mixed up. I'm gonna give it a little taste. See what you think. All right, the moment of truth has arrived. We've got our pork. Now you definitely want to taste it before your friends get there, because hey, you're cooking it. It's your pork loin. You deserve the first treat. So let's cut into this to see how beautiful it turned out. Remember, now it was 140 when I pulled it off, and I let it rest for probably about 40 minutes, somewhere around in there. You can do 15, I mean, whatever. But as you can see, beautiful. Juice is still coming out of that. Absolutely gorgeous. So that is perfect. Perfect, perfect for what you're gonna want. So now let's take another little slice of it off, and then I'm gonna eat a little bit of this because I deserve it. And I'm gonna take a little bit of our sauce here, put it right on top of that. And I'm diving right in. I can't help it. Oh my goodness. That's amazing. Can't beat that. Your friends are gonna come by and say, brother, this is the best recipe I've ever seen cooked on a Kamado cooker. And especially because you did it on that there at Golden's cast iron cooker, man, you're in like Flynn. So this peach sauce, this pork with that multitude of rubs that I put on, it's got a beautiful layered flavor on there. You are not going to be disappointed, I can tell you what. You're missing out. So thank you so very much. We appreciate your time, and look forward to seeing you next time. Remember, subscribe below. Looking forward to it. Talk to you then. Bye.